I don't know if you can tell, but the mulberries are ripe around here. But overall, she's not in too bad a shape for the shape she's in, being a 59 model. Also born in 1959, six-time WCW wrestling champion, Steve Borden, also known as Sting. Good thing to know.
1 out of 10 people is gonna know who the heck Sting is.
That's why it's funny. All right, now that we got that completely useless fact out of the way, let's get to what we're working on today. So the problem I've got with this tractor, and it's an ongoing problem that I'm just having to deal with, is a fuel system. The issue is it's a 60-some-year-old fuel tank, and it's rusty, and that rust comes down here, and most of it gets collected there in the glass bowl, but some of it gets down in here and ends up down here in the carburetor. I added a filter a couple of years ago, and this thing gets clogged up so quickly I have to change it out about once a year or sometimes twice a year. Probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 hours of use is about all I get out of it. And somehow stuff must get by here and get into the carburetor. Now, a little background about this thing. When I first bought it, it gave me all sorts of trouble. I could not get this thing to run right. After some trial and error, and I rebuilt the carburetor a couple times, I figured out that it was rust from the fuel tank clogging everything up, so I added that fuel filter, rebuilt the carburetor, and it was doing better, but it still gave me trouble. So what I ended up doing was taking the fuel tank out of the tractor, and I used that epoxy primer stuff that you use on fuel tanks, and it works, sorta. It coated, you know, you gotta coat the inside, you roll the tank around and keep going back and forth and get that epoxy all around the outside of the tank. The problem is you can't get it on the baffles, at least I couldn't, and so the baffles still rust. So the baffles rusting, I think, is what is still coming through the system and clogging up my system. Not really sure, but it's a persistent problem. Pretty typical of just about every time I use the tractor. I gotta get out of the seat and come down here and beat on the tank a little bit. There's probably junk up inside the stovepipe on the sender there. That's one trick you can use to do this. You put a little roll pin down inside. I'll show you. That thing threads into the tank, and you put a little roll pin on the top side of it, and that will prevent a lot of gunk coming through the system. But not all of it, obviously. That's why I'm here. So anyway, usually I just bang on the tank a little bit, the gas starts flowing again, and we're good to go. But apparently some stuff has made it past the filter, I think. The tractor just won't run, won't idle, won't do anything. I put the choke on, it seems to run okay, at least for a little while. So that kind of tells me that it's running lean. So, you know, we're probably looking at a situation where I've got an air passage blocked or something in there. I'm not really sure. Usually what happens is the opposite. The floats stick open, and then gas floods out this whole thing, and the thing runs like crap. And the first thing I did here was take the air breather tube off, and if it was flooding out, if the floats were sticking, you'd have gas running out of that tube out of the carburetor, and that's not happening. So that's good. That eliminates one problem. So I think what I'm going to do is just drain the system to start and see what kind of gunk is in the bottom of that fuel bowl. So I'm going to pull this little nut out here, let the gas drain down into there. I've got it shut off up here at the valve, and just drain this and see what's going on. It'll give me an opportunity to clean that glass bowl out and stuff. So we'll start with that. We'll see what happens. Now, when I first got this thing and started working on this fuel system, I got really good at taking this carburetor apart and putting it back together, because I think I had it apart about 5 or 6 times thinking I had something wrong. Turns out it was just rust and crud in the system. And it really wasn't until I started talking to people who had similar tractors that I figured out that this is a problem with everybody's darn tractor. Oh man. Brass plug out. The gas that came out didn't look too bad. Well, that tells us that, shoot, I don't know. Tells us that the gas in the bowl was clean, so it probably wasn't crudded up too bad. But I'm still having an issue, so I guess I'm probably gonna have to tear into this carburetor and maybe start blowing the passages out. I'm gonna use this opportunity to take this glass bowl out and clean the crud out of it. Ugh. Ew, that's not good. That looks like some epoxy in there. Yeah, not good. So despite, like I said, epoxying that tank and putting a stovepipe in the valve up inside the tank, I still get junk through it. There's just no escaping it. Would some enterprising manufacturer please start repopping fuel tanks for these old tractors? It would really solve a lot of my problems. If you're cleaning out your bowl, make sure you don't drop it and break it. Gah. Luckily, I saved the glass bowl from the old valve that I replaced a few years ago. I keep parts on hand for just such an occasion. Don't throw away good parts, kids. You never know when you might need them. Especially when you live like 10 miles from town. Or 20 or 50 or whatever. That's my advice for the day. So one thing to check when you're doing this, if you got the bowl off, check to see if that screen up there is plugged. Sometimes that gets plugged up. I can't really see very well. It doesn't look like it's plugged, but I'm going to try a different experiment. I'm going to open this up, and we just have a little bit more drip, 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 as opposed to the drip, drip, drip. Well, that's good. That's really good, because that means I probably don't got to tear this apart. That my problem is up here. I wasn't filming, and it's probably a good idea that I wasn't. But that's putting my sediment bowl back together. Dropped it and broke my other one. Ugh. If you're new to the channel, now you know why we call it Catastrophic Farms. Guess I'm going to town again today. Damn it. All right, so I'm back from town. Bought my glass bowl. In fact, I bought 2 of them, because knowing my luck, I'd drop the dang thing again, break a 3rd one. Got it installed, and as you can see, that valve is open, and it's just kind of trickling in there. That's not good. What I think is going on is that screen is plugged, or perhaps the little threaded part that goes into the tank, or maybe the stovepipe. So what I'm going to do is take the fuel line off here and blow a little compressed air through it and try to force whatever's in there out. The proper fix would be to take that glass bowl valve out and clean it all out and get all the junk out of the tank. But if I do that, I'm going to lose all the gas that's in the tank, and I don't really want to do that either. So I'm going to do it the quick and easy way, which just means I'm going to have to do it again in a few months probably. All right, got the fuel line off. I'm going to spray this, or I'm going to push this compressed air up through that line and see what happens. Ooh. Well, spraying it out there. Crap. Tighten that up. Maybe it'll work better this time. Ooh boy, this does not seem good. I don't know. Maybe there's the blockage is real bad in there. I don't really know. Let's try to close this off and take this back out without breaking it. Yeah. Let's try this. Get the pan out of there. Oh man, god dang it. Not a whole lot of room here to work with. It's not working either. Let's pull the filter out. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. I don't think that's it. Crap. Let's see if I can break another one of these damn things. Oh, look at that. Well, let's open this up, see if we get any better flow through here. Well, I don't know. Not really. I don't know if you can see that. It's still just drip, drip, drip. It's flowing a little better than it was a few minutes ago, but it's not great. Certainly not enough to keep the tractor going when you're, you know, half throttle or wide open, certainly. Probably better put this fuel line back on before all the gas starts running out. Oh boy. So I grab my, well, I looked down in there with the flashlight, which I don't have right now, and I found all sorts of fun stuff floating around in there and peeling off the side. This is that epoxy crap that's falling off the baffles. It's probably fine on the outside of the tank because I was able to treat that surface pretty well, but oh my god, it's all over in there. It's probably peeled right off the baffles because I couldn't get the baffles clean. The process is you got to run acid through the tank to get rid of all the rust, and I could not get the baffles de-rustified, and the epoxy I did get on the baffles is peeling off, and this is not good at all. I cannot see my little sending, oh there it is. I don't know if that's visible on the thing or not. It looks like it's clear. Why is fuel not going through there? I just don't know. Is that showing up there? I can't really tell. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to try to get some of this junk off there and with my needle nose pliers, and maybe that'll save me a headache in the future. All right, well, it's tomorrow, or today for me. I had to quit yesterday, just ran out of time. I did get it together, did get it fixed, at least I think so. And I didn't get the exact problem that I found filmed, but I will show it to you on this old valve. So this here sits, you know, up underneath the tank like you saw, and I got the broken glass on there just for reference. But I actually found stuff down inside the petcock valve. So I got this out and kind of blew it out with compressed air down in there, and that broke whatever loose that was in there, and it really started pouring gas. So I didn't film all that. I was kind of in panic mode. Let's not spill gas everywhere. Put the valve back in, you know, whatever. But this is all it was that was stuck in there that I found. I don't know if that's focusing very well, and it's little chunks of that epoxy that have just come loose, got down in there. All right, well, now that we got her together and the sediment bowl cleaned out and the valve is clear and we got gas clear down to the filter here and our plug and the carburetor's in, so we're good to go. Why don't we take it for a spin? Come on, you bastard. Oh man. See how long it goes this time. Well, it's not really 100% fixed. I got the big chunks of crap out of the valve, but it's filling right back up with stuff, so it's just an ongoing problem. I don't know, I might maybe buy or make a little stainless steel fuel cell for it or something. I'm really getting tired of messing with this problem, so I don't know. This tank is junk. I really don't like it. Even though I lined it with the epoxy and did everything the way you're supposed to do it, it just doesn't work. The stuff peels right off the inside. I guess that's all I got for you today. It's kind of sort of running. We're back in business, kind of sort of. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing. Thanks for stopping by. Join us again. Somebody please make a tank for these tractors. Ugh.